How are we doing, people? Hope everyone's having a good week, and today we're talking about how these little graphs can get you a rate below 3%. No, I'm not exaggerating. We haven't seen rates like that since 2021 or even before COVID. These little graphs refer to energy performance certificates, also known as an EPC. And if you have something that's sitting in the green territory, you can get access to a much cheaper rate. I'm going to walk you through it, show you exactly what to look for, how they can help with the running of a property, and what you should be paying attention to if they are further down the list, more in the red territory. So as mentioned, an EPC graph will help you determine the true energy performance of a property. You can see that you have two columns here. The first column refers to where the EPC sits as of today. The second column confirms where you can get the property to if you spend a bit more money. These refer to many different aspects of the energy performance of a property, in particular your windows, your heating system, and even the insulation and the cavities in the walls. If you own a new build, it's highly unlikely that you'll ever need to do any improvements on these type of properties for a number of years. But if you own a property that's anything older than 2000, anywhere even close to the Victorian or the Tudor ages, which you can find a lot of in the UK, you're probably going to need to spend quite a vast amount of money to get your property up to a particular standard if you find that your property is incredibly cold during the winter, or if you're looking specifically for a property that's characterful and you want to try and buy something with a bit of history. Bear in mind that the EPC is relevant to the running cost of the property. If you are a landlord at the minute, you cannot rent a property if it has a rating less than E. There are plans in place to try and get those up to a C rating, which was scrapped in 2023 because the government wanted you to have these in place by the time you got to 2025. It proved to be impossible for most landlords and a very costly exercise. So they're now looking to put plans in place to get landlords from a grade E rating to a grade C rating by 2030. For you to acquire an EPC, if you are selling a property, it is a very straightforward process. The cost is anywhere between £40 to £80 and the certificate is valid for 10 years. If you are unfamiliar as to whether your property even has an EPC, it's very easy for you to find out whether you have one. Simply Google EPC register and you can find the full register of absolutely everything available on a domestic level. Simply put in your postcode and you can see everything on your street that is actively available. If it has expired, it will need a new one. If you did get one done in, let's say, 2016, you might be in your 9th year ready to sell the property. You can easily sell the property with the old certificate, but it may not be a true reflection on the current EPC rating if you have done significant work to the property. So you may just want to pay the money to show that your property is actually at a much higher level. How do these rates help you get really cheap mortgage rates? Well, lenders are actually offering you what are called green products if you have an EPC rating between an A and a B with most lenders, or even A and a C with some other lenders. If your property falls within that bracket, you could probably see your rates below 4% on a residential level, depending on the loan to value and the criteria. But on a buy to let, you can get a rate as low as 2.78%. Now, admittedly, this does come with a 3% charge to it. So if you're buying a property at a much lower level, it becomes a very affordable product. If you're buying a property for a bit more money, it could be a bit of a costly exercise, but overall, the fact that you can have access to a rate less than 3% in this market is absolutely wild. So make sure you check the EPC register, make sure you check to see if you've got a valid EPC and that you are in line with regulation, or even a property that has a fairly decent one so you know the running cost of your property.